Who were the Radium Girls and why did their job kill them? Last night I read something that lodged itself into my head and wouldn't let go. It was about a group of young women in the 1920s who spent their days painting watch dials with radium. They thought it was safe. Some even thought it was healthy. They were wrong. And what happened to them is still one of the most haunting examples of how excitement for new technology can go horribly wrong. It all started with the discovery of radium in 1898 by Marie and Pierre Curie. This glowing element was seen as a miracle. It gave off its own light, and people believed it could cure everything from arthritis to cancer. Radium was added to tonics, cosmetics, toothpaste, basically anything that could be sold. No one fully understood or admitted how deadly it was. During World War I, the military needed watches and instrument panels that could be read in total darkness. Companies in the United States, like the United States Radium Corporation in New Jersey and Radium Dial in Illinois, began producing luminous paint made from powdered radium mixed with glue and water. To apply it, they hired young women, teenagers really, to paint the tiny numbers by hand. Their work was called dial painting. The painters were trained to keep the brush tips sharp by putting them in their mouths. They call it lip pointing. Over and over, day after day, they dipped the brushes into the glowing paint and licked them into perfect points. They painted hundreds of dials a day. They were told it was safe, encouraged even. Some painted their nails and even their teeth for fun, walking home glowing in the dark like living lanterns. Then the sickness started. At first, it looked like bad dental problems, loose teeth, sores that wouldn't heal, but the real horror was what was happening deep inside their bodies. Radium is chemically similar to calcium. Your body can't tell the difference. So when those women ingested tiny amounts day after day, their bones absorbed the radium just like they would calcium. Except instead of strengthening their bones, the radium lodged there and began emitting radiation from inside, destroying bone cells, blood cells, and marrow. One of the first known cases was Mollie Maggia. She lost her teeth, then her jaw disintegrated piece by piece. When doctors examined her, they could literally lift fragments of her jawbone out of her mouth with their fingers. She died at 24. Grace Fryer, another worker, tried for years to find a lawyer who would take her case. By the time she testified in court, she had to wear a steel brace to hold her head up. There was also Albina Laris, who lost most of her teeth and had constant infections eating away at her jaw. Quinta McDonald suffered the same fate. Edna Hussman developed severe anemia and bone decay. Amelia Maggia, Mollie's sister, also died from radium poisoning. Their symptoms were so bizarre that doctors at first thought it had to be something else, maybe syphilis. The companies used that as an excuse to blame the women themselves. But eventually, the truth couldn't be hidden anymore. Lawsuits were filed. The cases were some of the first successful worker safety suits in US history. They forced companies to acknowledge industrial poisoning, pay settlements, and improve workplace safety standards. It was too late for most of the women. Many died before the cases ended, but their fight changed labor laws forever. Today, we know how dangerous radium is. It's handled only with strict controls and protective equipment. But back then, it was sold as a miracle, and young women paid the price for everyone else's ignorance. Got a weird midnight question keeping you up? Drop it in the comments, and maybe it will be the next story we uncover. Until next time, keep wondering. I am Mari, and this is Midnight Question.